Hello, patrons. Welcome to the post show here. The first post show for the first show of Last Call for Adventure. Crew 1. Bronze is not here. We're going to get a graphic where it's just us four, but hey, we didn't prepare for that because I didn't think of it. Bronze.
She's so good at staring.
She's
just not
so
here
stoic.
anymore. It's so sad.
It's so sad. Yeah. Very impressive stuff. Let's talk about that first episode. The goal with these in the past, we've always had the DM here, but then we couldn't shit talk the DM. So I think it's really glad that Bronze is not here because she was just awful in that episode.
Oh,
jeez.
Gonna get back. This is gonna get back, and I'm gonna have to deal with this. Not you. I'm gonna get the messages like, "Are they kidding? Was that a joke?"
That's probably true. That's true. Me and Max's community would get that. Ann's and Jesse's very well mannered, nice communities, not used to the bullshittery of me and Max. I'd be like, wow, those guys are assholes.
What's the joke?
They're just the worst. Like, I don't understand. No, that was awesome. I didn't know what the plan was today. I didn't know if we were going to be like thrust into combat or what. I'm kind of glad it was the the quintessential setup episode, as it were. We met everyone. We met a little bit of the city. We met a lot of NPCs, to be honest, which was cool. I enjoyed all.
That's
of
nice.
that.
I like that. Yeah, makes it feel more like a real established world and stuff, and gives
it's not like
the viewers
the four of us and that's it.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It was really nice to have all
good
those
balance.
NPCs. I agree. What do you guys think of your characters? Are you happy with them? I mean, I'm like okay with mine. I think I realized what I was going to do in terms of I'm more than one character for the first time, if that makes sense. I can play other things just on a whim. And so I noticed that right away with like the whole Barnabas thing. And was able to utilize that. I'm really glad that Max also did a accent that I can also do somewhat reliably with his goblin, and set this idea that all goblins are from Jersey-ish and sound a little bit like Mike Tyson.
They don't all have to. It just so happens that Blibble sounds like that.
Okay, it's just a Blibble thing.
But you can run with that,
I
just Blibble's Blibble, and that's the voice that runs with him.
Okay.
It's fun for me to, as far as for me speaking, just for my character, I'm having a blast playing Blibble. It's a very opposite of characters that I played in the past, and that's part of why I wanted to do it. I've never played a goblin. And also too, purposely the voice is the way it is because it can be imitated, I think, fairly easily by others, which I think is part of the fun too. So if anybody wants to mock or whatever,
Yeah. Or just play a goblin.
Or like you said, imitate. For your case,
imitate, or even play a goblin in the world, right? Like everyone can
right.
Everyone's got their own Bostonian accent or Brooklyn accent or
whatever it is. It's kind of this weird melting pot, of just whatever
of everything, kind of in one. So that's awesome. Jesse, you admitted to yourself that you're playing kind of a trolly character in the shoutouts. I don't think it's that trolly. I think you're playing it right. You're not detracting from the game. You're adding to it. It's fun.
I think there always needs to be one idiot.
Sure,
I feel
the goofball.
There's always one dumb character, and I feel like I can be that dumb character you need, so I'm here for it.
Yeah.
We got the smart one, and then the other smart one, and then the other smart one. So I'll be dumb enough for the three of you.
There you go.
That's my promise. Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. I think all three of us kind of were able to bounce off of your character in the situations that arose, for sure. Even if one of us tries to get in a bar fight, Anne.
I loved it. I was hoping for a bar fight.
I didn't want to be in the bar fight. I just wanted it to happen.
Right.
Chaos to happen.
I was trying to redirect the anger towards someone else.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I was trying to cool down everything all episode long. Whenever conflict rose up, I was like, well, shit, here we go.
If old Barnabas kept talking shit, I was going to try to cast guidance on that dude.
Anne was pushing it. I was looking at this, or not Anne, sorry. Bronze was pushing it. I was looking at Spellbook as well. Because I don't know if she wanted the fight there. Anne was ready for the fight, but not ready to like partake. She was just going to watch it, then heal everyone afterwards. I think is that correct?
I was just trying to get Barnabas to be mad at Red Jasper instead, and to like pick a fight with a turtle that he was gonna get fucked up by. So
there's, I mean,
that's the other
just
side.
way above board. Because rage is an ability I can use almost all the time.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna fight unless I'm using rage, and so I imagine canonically my character would not fight people unless he was really pissed off. So
Yeah,
I will
it would take a
constantly
lot.
be trying to avoid combat. I will always be like, "There's a peaceful solution, I'm sure."
Yeah.
But if I go nuts, I'm going nuts.
Yeah.
Have some soup.
Yeah, have some soup.
with the ladle. I like how you also just tried to use your hand as if, I mean, I guess that works. You can cup your hand, right?
I want to make sure that I can constantly remind myself that I'm trying to play a character who's old, but like older than the city. So all this is like really impressive, but very new. And like, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
Seems like a lot of extra steps. And that's kind of his vibe.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. Let's talk Blibble for a bit. Starting off right out of the gate, already getting into some bullshit with a random NPC. Did Bronze plan that with you, or is that just completely off the cuff? Because we talked a little bit about you being the leader of the group within episode 0, and I think she kind of just ran with that.
Yeah. I think that was, she just heard that and just ran with it. And I was like, oh, okay, sure. We'll see what happens with
old Starla.
I don't know exactly what with that handshake, how serious that was. If it was, I'm a little nervous about that, but not, I'm totally fine with any consequences that come of it.
Yeah.
Very much don't care about, any good RPs. You shouldn't try to win the scenario, right? So whatever happens. I'm actually kind of excited to see how that plays out after we hopefully complete, the contract, and then come back and figure out that that scenario with Starla.
Now it's not. I mean, your name is not necessarily the one associated with the contract. It's Anne's.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's a little bit. One side, there's a little bit more power in Blibble's corner in terms of like, well, listen, this is the official. They're from the guild. Who the fuck are you to talk down to them? But also there's the other side of like, what the fuck did she do to me when I shook her hand? I'm still not sure. Something happened,
Yeah. It's on Anne, I guess, at this point. And did you know your character was going to be like a full-fledged guild member going into this, or was that somewhat of a surprise to you on Bronze's behalf?
No. Yeah, no, I didn't know. But I'm fine with that. I was just kind of imagining my character just goes out and like goes to the like slums and like the less nice areas to try and like help people with various ailments and that kind of thing. So it doesn't really matter to me whether if I'm coming from like in the guild itself or not. I think this time I feel like I haven't done like a ton of preparation in terms of the character background as opposed to what I've done in the past. I mostly focused on making sure I understood like my different spell options and stuff like that and like the mechanics of it rather than the character background. So I'm sorry for the pun, but I'm kind of winging it this time. So
pun intended.
I think it went great though. Like part of me, like
I
I'm
like
speaking
that.
personally, like I like that. Yeah, I like that as well because I don't think you should have everything figured out. I think sometimes that puts an unnatural amount of pressure on players to figure that. I think you can set stuff up without knowing where it's going and then figure it out afterwards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like how a lot of people write in general. I think a lot of people think when they write stuff or whatever, everything should be figured out, meticulous and all that. It's like, no, just set up ideas and then figure out the rest later. Same thing with D&D.
Yeah. I even noticed that in regards to like Bronze realized, I think in the first half of the show that it took a while to get to you, Anne, being in the bar. And that's, I was noticing that as well, that it was focusing on the three of us. And so I was glad that we were able to bring your character into the fold halfway through, but Bronze even went further when we came back from the break and gave you kind of a whole side moment with the side character type deal.
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
Right.
Yeah. which was fun. I in terms of an observer to that, I was enjoying that moment. How do you feel about that moment in general? I think it kind of spoke to your character as well.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, there's always I feel like there's always people in the audience that are just like, oh, well, this person is not talking or participating in this part of the story or whatever, and it's like, I mean, I'm not in the scene right now, so that's fine.
Yeah.
I didn't mind that it took time to get to my character at all because it gave me time to learn more about y'all's characters and to kind of think about the setting and that kind of thing. So I liked just having a backseat to that. And then yeah, she did. I mean, we had like whole scene with Sable and stuff like that, which again, I wasn't really sure where it was going to go, but I feel like it gave me an opportunity to kind of think about and hopefully show a bit more of my character's personality and like motivations, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely got that.
I think you accomplished that for sure.
For sure. Yeah, and Max got to play off of it in Blibble's way.
And for my part too, for anybody watching, you know, I definitely did not want to just like interrupt the scene and make it about me. It's more just like we're getting serious. Let's add a little comedic hook to it. You know what I mean? And then that's why I was like, want me to go in the hallway? I can go in the hallway.
Yeah.
You know, to give that opening to let the scene continue to play out if that's where the DM wanted to take it or whatever. But I think I really enjoyed that scene in general, just with you and Sable.
Yeah.
It's cool to see a little window into your character and why they might do things, and that there's some complexity going on there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think also the tone of everyone's character kind of like plays off of at least so far plays off of everyone else, where like Jesse is the not necessarily the comedic relief, but does allow for that more often than not. And I think Max as well, but also Max kind of pushes the story along in doing so with the grandiose statements that he has a lot of the time. So that was really fun with Blibble acting out most of the episode. I was very worried about taking the changeling right out of the gate in terms of going back to the bar. I was trying not necessarily to create an event, but more so just like create a means to ending and finding resolution to that. But now I think I've doomed that bartender. I think now I worry that bartender is going to die, depending on the severity of
maybe Bruce, maybe you step in next time. Just go for it. Like, oh, he's so fucked.
Well, I thought about just walking away because no one else was in the bar, and I was like, maybe I'll get Bruce on my side. And then I left, and I was like, Bruce is going to do that and die. Right, like he's just gonna enact the wrath.
If not die, maybe it'll kick up something.
Yeah, something will happen from it. I'm sure Bronze won't let that go.
Yeah, I think we'll see something come from that. Probably not severe enough to die, because I would imagine you probably don't want to kill the bartender at one of the no matter your notoriety and fame in there. There's probably some respect for the people that are serving everybody at the communal place.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, and I kind of expected that as well, and I'm hoping that that's the case, right? That it just doesn't get him in trouble right out of the gate. But I don't know. I have no idea in Bronze's world if in terms of like where the quote unquote bartender is on like the level of notoriety or respect garnered by them.
Right.
Like if you're a third rank in a guild, can you just walk up to the bartender and say like, go fuck yourself and strike them?
Well, let's find out. Bronze, how's it going to go?
Yeah, Bronze, what do you think? Do you have thoughts? No? Nothing?
Non-committal.
Okay, non-committal.
Yeah.
It's the DM's role right there. So, yeah, we'll see with that. I also don't know in terms of me and Jesse's character. I guess we'll just kind of feel that out. I don't know if I'm a changeling. We joked about it in episode 0, but I don't know. Or if you've forgotten. Or what.
I think it'd be funny if you've told me numerous times and I've just forgotten. So
yeah.
Play it how you want. I'll yes and the whole thing.
Yeah. I almost went and became a goblin as well for Max, but I realized that the only reason that I would want to do that is because I just want to do the accent. So I didn't do it.
It's fun.
It wouldn't be a narrative push. It would just be a self-serving push. And so didn't do that.
It's fun to do.
Yeah. And I have no idea how Anne, your character, would react if another Kinku showed up Like, I don't know if they're huge in this world in terms of just the amount of Kenku walking around, or if you're like a rarity. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure, to be honest. I think like the thing is that the backstory of like most Kenku is that they are generally like vagabond thieves.
Yeah.
And so my character is like a very different moral compass from most other Kenku.
Yeah.
So I think that would be like the main point of conflict if I were to find another one.
Yeah.
I imagine they're not like super rare. I don't know. That's a bronze question.
Yeah, I will say in terms of like the setting, it's probably the most like monster world aligned, like a bugbear just walking through the city, and like that's fine. That's like a normal thing. Or
Yeah,
for
it seems like a
example,
very big melting
even
pot.
Max, yeah, playing as a goblin. Or me playing as a changeling, right? Like those are typically reserved to be like monsters that you combat. So I'm enjoying that aspect of the world being what it is, and not just being like, oh, this city is run by dwarves. If you're not a dwarf, then they fucking hate you, right? Like it seems like everyone's
Yeah.
accepted.
That was
Kinda
something
nice.
too when I first came into the to the tavern. Was deciding how to react to your guys' characters in terms of like, oh, turtles, or oh, an
Yeah.
elephant person. And I was
Yeah.
like, it seemed natural to just be like, it's a huge melting pot, whatever, and then both for the character and in the setting of the of the town where we're at.
Yeah.
City, I guess.
Yeah, city for sure. And then there was a small tidbit, Jesse. I'm curious for you if this is a end game goal, or at least in session, in crew gold goal rather. At the end, or sorry, at the beginning, Marin mentioned about the airship company who's chopping down trees in the old forest. Is that something you're gonna want to check out, or are you just gonna see where the rest of the show goes?
I mean, we'll see. I'm not sure that he quite understands what an airship is to begin with. So,
well, you would
that
see
might be a
things
thing.
flying over, I think, right? Like you would have that concept of it, but maybe not up
I
close.
imagine his sort of outlook is the same as, like, I don't know, just sort of any old person, where he's kind of just like in it and he's fine. And then if you took him to a deforested area, he'd probably be like, the shit, and then we'd have an issue. Or if you went to like the Franz and Max starts pulling shit out of the ground, I'd be like, bro, what? Other than that, I'll just be like, happy to be there. It's kind of, until I see it happen, I won't fully register it.
Yeah.
I'm very excited for you to talk to plants.
I don't even know if they're going to respond. I have no idea what that's. I
know.
Well,
like, yeah, I'll
I'm
talk
just-
to plants. We'll see.
The contract, in terms of what I wrote down, was that dryads are the ones that are kind of manifesting this in terms of the veil between the Feylands and our valley is where we're headed. So I think we're going to be dealing with a bunch of dryads, which are
Great.
plants, right? I guess in one way. Jesse, you've maybe more so than my character, unless we've always been attached at the hip. You've probably had some dealings with dryads once upon a time.
I'm sure. I'm sure I will take us in a weird place. I don't know where that's gonna go.
Yeah.
But yeah. I'll always play along, and who knows? Maybe Red has a dryad ex-wife. Who knows? Who knows what's gonna happen? We'll find out.
What the? Sure.
That gonna bother you, huh? What if we got to fight some plant people?
Yeah.
Some of his. I mean, look. It depends. Depends on if I feel threatened by them. I may have to let them know what's up. I have no clue.
Okay. All right. Anne, is your character going to be adverse to like combat, being such a healer, or how do you think that's going to come up, or will it even be a thing? Will you just be like, okay, let's fight? Have you thought about that at all?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's. I've thought about it a little bit. I think it's mostly just that, like, in search of a way to help the greater good and like the greater public, we'll do kind of what's necessary. Which is why we're like going on this adventure, to go out and just try to find new materials and things that I could use to help people but that is kind of it's what is that, like the train dilemma, you know, like will you divert the train or whatever?
Yeah.
But I don't think my character isn't gonna relish in like hurting people. But if it's necessary, then it's just gonna have to happen.
Are you going as far as to like not have actual damaging abilities and only using like healing abilities, or not
No,
thought about
I
that?
have some. I do have abilities which are, well actually, so the starry form one, it's like you can do the constellation of an archer, which will do like 1d8 plus wisdom modifier damage.
Uh-huh.
So I think it's more just like my character does prefer to do healing things, but recognizes that there's also like bad things in the world which are gonna, you know, if they get in the way of my goal,
Yeah.
which is basically to help the most people, then yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm trying to think. I was kind of looking over all the notes. A lot of NPCs.
I have a note
What
for
do you
you,
got?
JP.
What's that?
Starla always needs her 15% is my favorite quote of the entire day.
You were very stuck on that quote in the opening of the show.
It made me laugh so hard. I don't know why the line Starla always needs her 15% cracks me up. It's such a good line. I have no idea why.
Is that your first or the pitch for the first merch? Is just Starla.
I don't. Please don't do that. But
see what happens with Starla. We'll see if she gets her 15%.
Yeah,
Starla always needs it.
I am curious. Max seems like the most combat interested character in that regards, and I guess we haven't seen Jesse, right? Like we haven't seen him rage yet. I think he's gonna Yoda it up a little bit and maybe relish in it somewhat, but I guess we'll just have to see.
I'm excited for combat in general, just to see how it goes. Get to use some spells, probably fumble some rolls, but maybe we won't. Maybe we won't fumble some rolls. Maybe we'll be like rock stars out there. Also, I mean, for Blibble's character, it's an opportunity to show that he actually has some talent and can be a little dangerous maybe and hold his own in combat, because obviously being a goblin, people look down on him normally, and even more so with his circumstances and what they know about, what happened with him getting kicked out of this, the university, the college.
Yeah.
So maybe a little bit of redemption there to be like, oh, he does have actually redeeming qualities, at the very least to be able to hold his own.
He's a combatant.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Jesse, I saw the brain cog wheels turning there as we were talking.
I just realized when thinking about combat, I realized what my character is. I am like a combination of Groot and Drax. And I realize that character is one that isn't a main character. So my objective is to just like give you all springboards to do shit. I realize that I think
that was true in this episode already. Yeah, like it.
What now?
That was already true, I think, in this episode to begin with.
I think that's how it developed. Yeah, but even hearing it now, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm that character that too much of me is a bad thing. So I need to learn when to shut the hell up. So the things I do matter rather than just like I'm always talking very you know what I mean?
Yeah, for what it's worth, I think you had it seemed like you were already aware of that to begin with this episode, and you didn't like overstay your welcome as a character in that regard.
I feel like all of us understand kind of the
for sure
D&D / showmanship vibe of knowing when to not talk is also very important.
Yes.
Yeah. 100%.
I think that was also relevant in terms of just sharing the screen time throughout the episode. Because we talked about it already, but Anne didn't have much in the beginning, and then got her own time and had her own kind of NPC experience with what was the character? They start with an S. That was Sable. Yeah,
Sable.
That's the one I didn't write down because I didn't.
How could you forget Sable?
I didn't interact with it. Yeah. Wrote down everyone else though. We have Marin, Starla, Bruce, Maria, and Barnabas. And then
you think we're going to see any of them again?
I don't know.
I'm writing them down
episodes.
Maybe.
There's Amanita too, is the alchemy dealer that I was
Oh,
Right.
right.
when we were introduced.
Yeah, she seemed to. I think Bronze might have been surprised by that because she mentioned like 2 or 3 times, like, do you want to go get your, supplies and all that, get your health pots, get whatever. And we were all just like, no.
Yeah.
I don't.
I was just like,
I would, but
Good.
again, too, for Blibble's sake, it's like it sounds like he's losing. He's going to get the shittiest cut anyways, just because of all this, the circumstances surrounding how we got the contract and whatnot.
Yeah.
There's like, if we can just go, do we feel good? Cool, let's go.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're getting plants. How hard could it be? You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
the age old, essentially tragic question.
Well, I'm having not played into. I guess Jesse's probably the one that has maybe the most experience, at least in the same game, not necessarily the DM'd by Bronze, but I have no idea what combat's going to be like. Right?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to be. All right, you're fighting 30 dryads. You didn't get any potions, so good luck. or if it'll be tailored to like, okay, we'll maybe scale it back a little bit.
Yeah.
We'll just have to see, right? Like it's really that is an episode 2 thing, and we'll have to see how that goes. Maybe that's all we got. Maybe we get 4 new characters episode 3 because we all died of dryads. You never know.
I would be surprised. I think it would have to take like a lot of really bad rolls.
Yeah,
really bad rolls.
Now you've.
But then again, you never know.
Now we're screwed.
I had some pretty bad rolls today, so.
Who got our first?
Good.
That's true. Who got our first one? Oh, that was Max.
Yeah.
Yeah.
However, I think I rolled first,
You had
and
the
it was a
18,
decent roll. Yeah, it was an 18 off the start.
You did have the first roll on the show. What? It was an 18 on persuasion.
Mm-hmm.
Was that with Starla? Is that where we got the?
Yep.
Is that why we
Yep.
got the contract? Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. All right. No.
Might have had to
crits
fight
yet.
more for it.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
We didn't have any crits. We had a quote unquote dirty crit from Anne, which is just a 20 with a +2 on it, or an 18 with a +2 on it. But
I may not be the most wise or intelligent, but I got some charisma.
yeah, I wrote down, by the way, and I can, if you guys want the reference, the black tea gives perception check bonus, the rose tea gives charisma bonus, and the honey lavender gave us saving throw versus frightened and a wisdom bonus.
Yeah.
And I think she said the black tea, or sorry, was the
Black
black
tea was
tea
most
the most expensive? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Did she said that, and did she tell you how much money to subtract, or did we just let that slide?
She
One
said it was
gold.
one
It was
gold for
one
all
gold.
of it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
damn.
for all of it.
So
That's
I
fucking
did subtract
pricey.
1 gold for all of it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's pricey. How much gold do you have? 14 or 10?
Started with 10.
Okay. All right. We didn't do the inheritance roll, Jesse. I forgot. Maybe that's a thing when we come back, where you have
Yeah, it wasn't brought up, so
yeah, and I didn't want to like. It was the type of deal where I didn't want to have before we leave. I don't want to go do blah
Yeah,
blah.
you want to stop momentum going, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So we'll
Also,
we'll talk after the
I
fact.
want to say that I rolled 2 6s, and that's a d20 with +2 for proficiency and +2 for wisdom. So I actually rolled a 2,
Twice
and it had a +4 bonus. Yeah, twice.
on your
So
medicine
those
checks,
are-
right? Yeah.
Yeah, that was really
Yes.
bad. I was so confident. She was like, "Roll medicine," and I was like, "Oh, I have a +4." And
That's
then
the
it was
age old thing
just a
with
6
D&D.
total.
You're like, I'm good at this. The chances of me fucking this up are very low. I'm confident.
Yep.
Like, all right, I'm ass. I don't
I
know
did
what
it
I'm doing, I
twice.
guess.
Yeah.
So
That's I think there's like this confidence that I have that I just whenever I'll just do things until I get told to roll, and then if I roll badly, I just kind of like, well, okay. That's what it is. It's just this dumb confidence that I have when it comes to that. And it sounds like you share that as well, Anne, with the medicine rolls. So
Yep.
that's how it goes. That's how it goes. I did like that Bronze made it so the second one wasn't necessarily how well, like it played to your character in the sense of it wasn't how well you healed her, it's how painful it
Right.
was for Sable.
Yeah, I like that. too.
Yeah, I like that as well.
Also made the scene kind of a little bit
Yeah.
more interesting and dynamic.
Yeah, it wasn't a yes or no or a pass or fail type situation. It was just an RP hook to it, which I thought was cool, having not experienced it's usually, in my experience, always been a pass or fail situation. So.
And you could see how much Sable cares about Elegy because she's trying her hardest to just fight through the pain. You're doing great. Ah!
That's exactly right.
Yeah. Yeah, when I rolled the 6, I was just like, that's gonna suck because my character's supposed to be a healer, and it sucks if I like am bad at this, especially if I've done it before. So I'm glad that the way that Bronze handled it was perfect.
Yeah, I thought so as well. What was the highest roll? Then we can. Was it the 20? I guess I had the highest with the 24 on a deception, one shy of the crit, and then Max had the lowest with the 3 on the deception. I wonder if that that stat guy will partake in the show. If not, we'll have to find a stat dude. We had a guy that took every roll for us in the past and like put it into a giant thing.
Had like
I
data for us to
remember.
go through.
Yeah, it was wild. So we'll see if they're around. But cool. That's all I got. Anything you guys have questions, comments, anything like that?
No, I think we covered a lot.
No.
Yeah. Just excited for more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excited to jump in. It's always the one thing, with the first episode, everybody kind of like, you don't know how it's going to go. You hope it goes well. Probably will go well. Again, I had no worries with this cast, especially.
Yeah.
And then the second episode, you're just more excited because things are established. You're easier to jump in and get into the meat of things, which is always great.
Yeah. Also, for what it's worth, Bronze was incredibly nervous for this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I've never seen Bronze that tight, and she expressed it so. And like she was very nervous about this. And I think
that's why before we started, I was like,
great.
"You're good. It's gonna be fine." In my head, I always try to go to the worst. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say it doesn't help to have like tech issues too.
Right.
I'm sure that doesn't help.
100%. I could see too if it was like, if it was a bunch of people she didn't know, hadn't played with or whatever. That's not something like in my head. I'm like, worst case scenario. Okay, some of the other stuff might falter a little bit or could go wrong, but like on a base level, I feel like this crew and like the premise of the show and her being at the helm, just her experience, like it would be really surprising if the show just sucked. You know what I mean? From just like an objective point of view, I think there's a lot of good things going for the show in general. So that's where I came at it. I'm like, worst case scenario, it'll be like, these other things are kind of not working, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah. I wasn't nervous about that aspect of it whatsoever.
Yeah.
It was more nervous about the like, is the show streaming? Are we live on everyone's channel?
Production things and
yeah. But after the first 5 minutes, that was gone. We kind of just rolled into it. So.
And the most important thing, it seemed like everybody was really stoked into it. So
yeah,
that's
the reception wise, people seemed very into it. Yeah. And that's that's what you want. People are excited for it. I already saw it was an afterthought, I think, when Jesse brought it up. But I've already caught wind that people are making fan art of the 12-headed rat creature,
Muskrat.
the 12 muskrats with a head each or something like that.
Yeah.
So I guess next week we'll at least see that in fan art. Perhaps we'll have to keep an eye on that in the Discord. I think that's good. If you guys have questions in terms of the patrons watching, post them in the comments here on YouTube where you're watching the VOD, or on Patreon, or you can tag us in Discord. I know all the cast is in there. Might not respond to it, but we might also see it and respond to it. Really just comes down to how busy we are.
Save it for the next post show.
That's also
break out
true.
Some questions.
Yeah, that's a great idea. All of the above. So keep your questions public. Let us know and drop them wherever you can. We'll keep an eye out for them. That's it for this post show, the first post show, and we'll do another one next week after the next episode, episode 2 of Last Call for Adventure. So thank you guys for staying late. I know it is a little bit later since we started late, but it'll be earlier next week. We'll get better at this as we go along. All right.
No worries.
Thanks for watching. We're out of here. Have a good one. Bye-bye.